Just to set the context, it's a very short duration kind of discussion. So let me quickly set the context. Um, what we witnessed in November 2022, what a watershed in the technology evolution. I would say it was a third wave. The first was your internet wave, the mid 95, mid 90s, and then you had the smartphone wave, right? That was a technology revolution. And we all know in November 2022, with the generative AI, where we were talking of AI earlier, but it was not democratized. I'm not saying it is fully democratized even today, but generative AI became a household name from November 2022, and there's a lot of water which has flown under the bridge now. Organizations, enterprises, businesses are now talking of how to leverage the potential and the power of these new technologies, and various organizations in various sectors are all kind of working out use cases, identifying use cases, and so on. So this panel is all about this, should I say, the cocktail of technology, right? Cocktail. Everybody loves cocktail, right? So to a large extent, I would say technology leaders today, Rajiv, are like bartenders today. No, don't laugh, because bartender's job in some of the countries, you will have to you'll have to go through a certification process, right, to become a bartender. So what does a bartender do at the back? You know, if you visit a pub, he stands there and he has got all those exotic wines and whiskeys at the back. And assuming those are all those technologies and trends that we have, technology trends. So whenever the customer walks in, he's supposed to be identifying the customer, understand what this fellow's requirements are, and then mix those wonderful wines and whiskeys and come out with those wonderful cocktails and mocktails, which will delight the customer. And that's the role of the bartender today. So today we're talking of a partial kind of a cocktail here of the cloud, data, and AI. But if this is a cocktail, I'm adding a fourth dimension to this. And we're not going to discuss too much about this. It's on quantum computing. Because all these will get accelerated because of quantum computing. And you already must be hearing stories of where generative AI is consuming a lot of compute power, right? And per, whatever, one query you put in, one prompt you put in, consumes so many liters of water, and power requirements going up, and everything is not green power. And that's very important. In the morning, somebody spoke about this, importance of sustainability in this. So quantum computing with generative AI could be a game changer, and we don't know at this point in time. It's only a matter of time before this quantum computing becomes commoditized, democratized, and that's going to power these new technologies. And the possibilities of this, we probably at this point in time do not have the wherewithal to even imagine what the impact of that would be on the industry. But with whatever we know at this point in time and the kind of horizon we are able to see at this point in time, we will confine our discussions around these cocktail of three cocktails. This cocktail of cloud, data, and AI, right? So starting off with no particular order, Suresh, you're sitting in the middle, but I'll still start with this. Suresh is from HDFC, the banking sector. So banking sector is a highly regulated kind of a sector.
Yes.
Right? You have your own restrictions in terms of what can be put on the cloud. You can't have your core banking solution application on the cloud and so on and so forth, right? How does it work in your sector, right?
So in banking sector, so we have
your cloud, on-prem, and so on. Yeah.
So we would have lot of applications which are legacy. So any bank which has a legacy of 15, 20 years would still have their core applications on the data center. But with the new digital age, lot of digital apps coming in, lot of SaaS platforms coming, offering lot of innovative solutions, there is a trend to migrate to the cloud also. So for that, banks create a secure landing zone where maybe you can use a AWS or a GCP or Azure, but you will have a landing zone where your controls will be implemented, and any application hosted on the cloud would have controls equivalent to what you had on your on-premise data center. And RBI also encourages banks to use cloud service providers who have data centers in India. The data localization is very key in banking segment. So that is how the changes are happening. And there are a lot of SaaS platforms which are coming by the day, where many innovative solutions are getting implemented. But the challenge would be they might not meet your security standards. So as organization, be it banking or other sectors, you have to ensure that whenever you go for a cloud platform or you buy SaaS platforms, you should not try to not to dilute your controls which you would have established over a period of time for legacy organizations. If you are a new startup, then maybe you live with it because that is your standard. But many of the legacy organizations like banks have their own set of controls which were time tested. You used to give a requirement to the vendor. They used to custom build it for you. So there was lot of all the baseline controls will be adhered to. They will work on your technology. You will be able to do AppSec and VAPT and all those controls starting from baselines. You are having much better control on your data center applications. This you have to strive and ensure that when you go for a cloud hosted application or when you procure SaaS platforms, try to ensure that overall you have the still same level of risk. So you don't increase the risk by going to a cloud. So that should be the strategy.
Okay. Rajiv, how does it work in your, should I say, an industry? Because they are into pharmacy, they're into pharma retail, right? How does cloud, this cocktail or the convergence of these three very powerful technologies really play out in your sector?
So, I think the pharmacy retail sector is a very interesting space, primarily because of the amount of data that it generates, and also the kind of data. It is sort of by default it needs to be secure, because we're working with patient health records and so on and so forth, right? Basically, so there is, for example, with Wellness Forever, a lot of our workloads that power our store right now are on-prem, and they've always been on-prem. However, I think with discussions on exactly what needs to be where, it's also a discussion on what is the workload we're talking about. Now, when we start there, it becomes the picture becomes a lot easier for me, at least, to kind of figure out as to where something should run. So as an example, if you're talking about anything to do with the store, which is static in nature, it doesn't change a lot, there is obviously a curve for us to be able to transfer that from on-prem to cloud, and maybe the actual outcome of that or other value add might not be as much. However, the biggest aspect for us specifically when it comes to cloud is agility. I mean, that's something that cannot be replaced with on-prem, and there are a lot of health-based use cases that have now come up, which is, I mean, we can't imagine that to be on-prem in any way, because I think it's almost like saying we run multiple Skunkworks program or Skunkworks projects within the company. And we don't know which one will take up and which one will fly. So we have a full cocktail. We in fact use all the public cloud providers in some way or the other, wherever everybody is strong. And we run, whether it comes to sort of your big data applications or experimentation with AI, we might get into it in terms of what the specifics are. But we run a multitude of those. Okay. Now, apart from that, I think a quick pointer on the fact that we are not just a pharmacy which is retail in nature. We are also an omni-channel business, which means that we have our app, our web, our sort of a fulfillment API where anybody can connect to. All of those are currently on the cloud and continue to remain there.
Let's go to Preetham. Preetham comes from the health insurance industry, from Aditya Birla. And on the sidelines, I was talking to him and I was negotiating with him for a health cover for my father who's 95 years old. And he straight away refused because he said, I don't have data related to my. So you don't get insurance covers for, if you grow beyond, if you're over 70, you can't get an insurance cover in India that easily, I guess, right? But I'm not quite sure whether, when you have this central node, national open digital ecosystem for health, which the government is involved in, you have a lot of data. And based on that, probably you can push the needle and then say, yeah, it should be available even for the senior citizens also, right? But how does it play out in your sector? I know the first thing people would say in the insurance, whether it's life insurance or health insurance, the first thing is fraud analytics. Data plays a very, very critical role in identifying those frauds. How else is this used?
Yeah,
Just not data, but also I'm sure you can talk about your applications running on the cloud and so on. Okay.
yeah, you are partially correct because well, the future, or I would say future is little bright because the way government is now trying to realize this industry, the AVA IID is coming up, which will be most probably will be our next UPI moment for health insurance industry. Now we'll have the records of all the medical records of all the customers, and then once we have them, probably we have a better confidence on the people who are towards the higher age, and then like going to offer a health insurance product in future. But coming to in health insurance industry, typically goes for a BFSI industry is that we collect a lot of data, and then we don't share anything because that's the way in this industry works. We have all the medical records of all the customers because for every customers they are eligible for annual health checkup. So I know their medical history and everything. I know how much they are walking, how much they are sleeping, and what all their activity throughout the day. And that helps us to offer him a better guidance on his health, how to take care of his health. We also trying to incentivize the customers to remain healthy. And so I will tell about one use case which we probably did during COVID times. So as an organization, we normally incentivize our customers to remain healthy, to walking daily 10,000 steps, so that, and we have a concept of health return. You can get your premium back during renewal if you're healthy and if you're doing regular fitness activities. Now, but during COVID times, people hardly go out because those are difficult times. So what we introduced is that at your home, keep your video on, and if you can exercise for 30 minutes, we will capture, we'll assess how much calorie you are burning through the video. And if it is more than 300 calories, and as in one sitting, we'll offer you one active day. So it means close to 10,000 steps walking for the day. So that's what we are trying to utilize the technology and using that using AI and everything, and try to replace what was the traditional medium which we have currently right now. We have also trying to introduce. We are very much bullish about the Google's the Retina scan. We have introduced a health assessment using the facial data, which is now in pilot and will roll out in phases.
Samarendra, he comes from FedEx, and FedEx uses globally a large organization which uses a lot of data. I know one of those very popular kind of use cases is the route optimization. The kinds of millions of dollars that FedEx was benefited because of using data analytics AI for route optimization. Something about that. Talk about how are you leveraging data, and you should be doing it big time, I guess.
Yeah, so good evening, everyone. So like you said, FedEx largely a data-driven company, and we have a core data, long back, because we have been working on a lot of applications, because we have, like sir said, we are also a very old company, have legacy systems, and collating the data and making a data lake is a big challenge.
What would be the percentage of workloads of entire FedEx on the cloud at this point in time?
We are moving very fast to cloud, so we are Azure, Google, Oracle also in place, and
so about 60% of all your workloads are
not yet, but yeah, we are moving very fast towards that, because like we also have a lot of compliance, GDPR, PCI, and HIPAA compliance, So we also have to see how the data. So like you said, we are using analytic for the route optimization, collecting all the data from the different resources. Like we are using RFID and sensors, and also the data from the systems when any package booked, how to and once the data, let's say for us, like if you book a package today to US, the data will immediately go to that whole line haul,
okay.
And we'll see the package sizes and all that. So it is taking care of inventory management, route optimization, and as well as the vehicle management also. Even we have airlines, aircrafts and all the vehicles, we are using sensor to get those data to analyze the maintenance, proactive, maintenance. All that analytic we are doing on the data, what we have. You can say predictive analytic on that sense.
Yeah.
So these are the few things we are doing in a large scale, yeah.
To Viral. Viral comes from the National Commodities Data Exchange. Viral, if I can request you to spend a few seconds to explain what NCDX is all about, and then the importance of this convergence of data. How do you view it?
Sure. So NCDEX is India's largest agri-commodity derivatives exchange. We hold more than 93% market share in agri-commodity derivatives market today in India. We are a institution of national importance. We have been classified as critical infrastructure by Government of India. So essentially it means everybody is after us. So all the regulators that you can think of is behind our neck to kind of make sure that we run the way we run. And since you said introduce NCDEX, I should say that the kind of regulatory compliances that an exchange has to meet and kind of governance disincentive which is available. I'm not sure whether you guys are aware, but if there is a downtime in the infrastructure that we host, and this is true for all the MIs, all the exchanges, 10% of the CTO's salary is deposited in the investor protection fund account. I'm not sure which industry has this, but it's true for the MIs. So that's the introduction. Probably I will start with that.
Okay.
So going for the topic that we are in, I think we are discussing this cocktail. People are probably waiting for some other cocktails. We have 13 minutes left. So while cloud, AI, and data are individually, I'm sure all of us are leveraging all these technologies separately. But today, I think we are talking about the cocktail. And one example that I would to really cite about the convergence of these three and how, as an exchange, we are leveraging that is essentially so as an exchange, we have vast volumes of data. We have orders in probably thousands and lakhs of orders flowing in probably in a day, and number of trades also. So we have kind of created a data lake, now again, within the exchange premises because of regulatory reasons. So that's the data part of the convergence. We have put an analytical engine self-built over that, which again is residing within the exchange premises. And on top of that, we have put a visualization layer on cloud. So that's your data, AI, and cloud. And what this has helped the exchange to do is essentially democratize the entire data available from all the sources, from my risk management system, from my surveillance system, from my trading systems, from the CRM system. So all the data is currently available in a centralized location. And the entire exchange is able to view, obviously based on the governance rights that they are supposed to.
But that's not on the cloud.
The rule engine is on premises. Okay. The visualization layer is on the cloud.
Okay.
So when somebody logs in, he logs into cloud. It flows into the on-prem data center, and it does the type of analytics that they want to do without a single involvement of technology. Earlier, obviously, all the data requests used to come to the tech team saying that I want this data and this is to be required to be submitted to the regulator, urgently give that data. All this thing is completely stopped. User can themselves get the data that they want, and they are creating the reports by themselves with whatever visualizations that they require to do. So that's one of the examples that we have implemented in the exchange.
I'll go to Rajiv now. Rajiv, people today say that there is a trend of workloads moving, customers moving workloads back from the cloud back to the on-prem. Well, I don't have statistics to prove this, and I'm a very strong believer of the cloud model, of course. But still, if I were to term this trend as a Garvapsi, it is a Garvapsi. Do you believe Garvapsi is happening? And what are those factors probably could be driving this Garvapsi trend? Is it cost? Is it security, cloud security, or any other factors? Your thoughts on this?
So it's an interesting term, to be honest. I'm going to use Garvapsi from now on for this term, to be honest. That's learn something. I think this discussion obviously is very recent, and it goes down to, depending on what side of the argument you are on, it goes down to this infamous or famous article that was a $1 trillion paradox, which is around cloud. And I think in that article, contentious as it was primarily around a certain type of company, a certain type of workload, and the only argument was around cost. that once you reach a certain type of stability and where there is not a lot of changes in terms of delta with respect to your system and so on and so forth, what moving away from cost would give you from with the perspective of just operational expenditure. And it had a purpose as far as an article is concerned. However, that started a trend with a few companies who are actually trying to move out of the cloud. Now, whether you think it is real, yes, it is real. There are companies who want to move out of the cloud. However, the question is slightly misleading in the sense that people aren't going back from cloud to on-prem. They are moving certain workloads from cloud to on-prem, and only what makes sense, right, essentially. The only way you will be able to confidently say that people are moving out of cloud is if you have no more workloads or use cases to build on the cloud.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's almost like asking me, for example, if I am sitting in that and somebody's asking me that question that, are you moving back into this? The real question to me is, have you stopped imagining any more use cases for your company? And that I don't think in the near future is possible because of what I mentioned in the first answer as well, the agility. Now, even cloud companies, to be honest, when they came with big fanfare, they said, okay, we are going to be very agile, it's all managed, and they also in their excitement mentioned cost, saying that, okay, your cost will be reduced. Agility, it's a big tick, obviously.
And impacts your innovation also of the organization. If you're moving back, can you have the same level of innovation if you move back, right?
So that's exactly what I was saying. So agility has always been a big tick. And you will never be, that basically goes down to behaviorally how a company would behave. If, for example, there is a bottleneck between you thinking about something and being able to execute something, there is a bottleneck, you will almost lose out on most, as I keep saying, skunk work projects, right? I mean, a lot of these projects just kind of start inorganically or organically and kind of move into a big ecosystem altogether.
Yeah.
So, whether, to your answer, yes, they are moving back, but they're only moving part of workloads which make sense to move back.
Correct. Essentially. Because, my thoughts on this, just as a follow-up to whatever you said, cloud is like a service apartment. It is stocked with everything. It's not only furnitures and you walk into the kitchen and you have all the kitchen appliances like your microwave and your refrigerators and so on, but you're also stocked with groceries also, right? So all you have to do is to start cooking with all those low-code, no-code solutions and all that which you have on the cloud. But the only thing is you need to have a very sharp focus and eye on the cloud cost, which is another kind of a discussion by itself, because this is like, again, walking into a restaurant. If you walk into a restaurant and there is a buffet, you lift the lid off the container which has got chicken biryani, you get the smell of that, right? But the restaurant does not charge you for that. But in a cloud, even so, smelling the biryani, you might be charged for it, right? So you'll have to be careful on the cloud cost. So Garvapsi is a trend, but you have to be very selective, is what you're talking of.
On just the cost as well, right? I think primarily what I've seen recently with respect to kind of cloud costs has been that there is, we've kind of got lapped onto the agility that it gives you. We've lapped onto all the convenience it gives you without paying attention to the one asterisk mark right at the bottom when cloud came up, that you will have to change behavior. As CTOs and CIOs, you will have to change behavior. As an example, very small little example, to say that, okay, when we are on-prem, we bought a GPU or a CPU with certain capabilities or configurations, and obviously it's running all the time. It's not really going to cost you too much with respect to electricity or whatever else it takes or whatever it is, so we keep it running. On the cloud, you obviously have the option to kind of scale it down when the traffic is low. But I think these are small little tidbits. If you implement those, obviously the actual delta with respect to the cloud is not as much for you to be able to sort of give up on the agility aspect of it. That's sort of my.
Preetham, on the healthcare sector, I strongly believe that there are 3 industry sectors which will be impacted the maximum through these new age technologies and very disruptive technologies. You have a lot which is happening on genomics because of your AI, right? And there was something, a very, very scary kind of statistics which said in the conventional compute with all the hardware, an algorithm takes 10,000 years for the output to be got. In quantum computing, you can get that in 200 seconds. That's going to be scary, right? So with all this happening on genomics and on drug discovery. You're going to have drugs which are going to slow down your aging process. The ethical implications of that can be debated or whatever. So there's a lot which is happening on the healthcare, and that's going to be disrupted. My question is, what do you think as the top three very, very disruptive trends that we are going to witness in the healthcare sector? And the same question for Samarinder from a logistics industry perspective. Though I say healthcare, education, and the legal industry, where legal there's a lot of scope for technology. From a healthcare perspective, top three trends?
So I will go to from the health insurance perspective. In health insurance specifically, it's not picking up because there is a lack of trust between the insurer and the customers. Because all the policy documents is primarily meant, unfortunately meant, how not to provide the claims. Because there are a lot of asterisks, lot of terms and conditions people don't understand, and then people, when there is a claims, there's a moment of truth, and then they got declined. Now, with the invent of generative AI, these things will be sort of definitely will be cleared, because the customers will have now access to the asking this in a simple language, and the insurer will provide you the exact terms and condition in their own language, not in the legal terms. The claims, the cashless part, which is not as is there in metros and tier 1 cities, but if we go to the tier 2, tier 3 cities, it's not still out there. Probably the claims processing will be faster. Today, if I talk about 2 hours, 3 hours, it will be in seconds, minutes, and that will provide all the computing power, all the AI and everything, all the digital ecosystem is coming up, the way the hospital is coming up, the way our partners, TPA is developing their digital ecosystem. It will be done in seconds in the future.
Samarinder, from a FedEx perspective,
From logistic perspective, I will say, so you can autonomous vehicle.
Correct. I'm looking for something like drones, deliveries.
Yes. That is already in place.
Already in
so in US, we have a bot who is going to deliver your packet. We have already in Dubai and Europe as well as in US, already delivering the with assistive thing. And blockchain is one of the things which will, because the pain of logistic industry is realization of the money. Means like once we sip it, the money comes very late. And if we have the blockchain, that is one very critical technology which is going to be very changing. Then edge technology, because if you see the warehouses and all going to how they will monitor. It means like the technology has to be in the edge. That edge computing, and like you said, that computing, that quantum computing and big data kind of things, which is with the next generation things which I can see in logistic, and smart supply chain management through this. These are the few things.
My last question is from a banking sector thing. With the kind of technologies, I'm not saying quantum computing, it's still far away, but still your compute power is going up, right? With all the encryptions, even 128-bit encryptions and all that, whatever you do, right? If that's very easy, it's going to be easy moving forward. With generative AI, that's going to facilitate all these also. But what are you going to do to strengthen? Can I trust and put my money in HDFC Bank?
Definitely. Hello. So what is happening is, lot of partners are coming and already pitching to bank that this quantum computing is going to be a game changer. We can decrypt any traffic with the quantum computing, compute in place. So that is why you need very high level of encryption, which will be maybe 10 times more stronger than what we are using right now. Right from a digital certificate to all those encryptions is going to undergo a change. So there are many players in the market who have already started pitching those solutions to the bank. But it is a journey. So we have to be, very cognizant of the fact that we cannot ramp up my compute power by 10 times and just to put a digital certificate which is maybe having an encryption strength maybe 10 times the current strength. The user should not feel discomforted with the if the transaction becomes slow. Lot of things are still under discussion from a quantum computing perspective, but that is a reality, and there are solutions, there are labs who are already providing capabilities to manage this kind of security threat because of the enhanced power of all those computers.
We have completely run out of time, so just as a concluding remark, I just wanted to recall Jeff Immelt. If you have heard of Jeff Immelt, he was the former CEO of General Electric. He made a statement way back in 2014, that's almost 10 years ago. He said, if you went to bed as an industrial and a manufacturing company, you would wake up in the morning as a software and analytics company. He made this statement way back in 2014, so the kind of foresight he had of the things to come. And somebody very recently said that the kind of change you're going to witness riding on technology in the next 10 years or maybe till 2030 is going to be far more than the kind of changes we have witnessed in the last 100 years. It looks very, very scary, it looks very challenging, yet very exciting. So the future is challenging yet exciting. We don't know at this point in time, it's very difficult today to project the trajectory of these technologies, right? So that's the world we are in today.
We'll probably end up with a sentient being that we have created by the end of the century. That's where we are right now.
And with data and with the volume of data going up, somebody again commented that the future of the country is going to be measured just not by GDP, which Shri Narendra Modi ji keeps on talking of GDP growth, right? Which is the gross domestic product, but it is going to be the gross data product, the value that you get from the data. And that's what will determine the success of the country. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for these very rich insights. Thank you very much.